Alright. This ain't no fun, please.
That is no fun.
This ain't no fun. Greetings. Greetings. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my friend Smitty. Smitty, what's going on with my affiliate link? Don't give him too much, but what's the deal?
Sorry, just sipping a little mint tea here. Get my zen on. Come here, babe.
You want to hear him?
Hey, you got a puppy in your lap? I got a puppy in my lap.
Look at his dog, Bubba. That dog weighs, what, 60 pounds?
60 pounds. She was just to the vet the other day.
My dog weighs
As
6.
Ella.
Good Lord.
My dog weighs 1.
What's Grandpa doing to you, huh?
That's unreal. Well, good evening, Smitty. I wanted to bring you on here because, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting to do this introduction. Happy New Year, Rounduppers. Happy New Year. This is Chris Haskins. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Tonight, I get an opportunity to hang out with my boy, my homie, Smitty.
Thanks for inviting me, Chris.
Yes, if it wasn't for you, there would be no Chris Haskins, I promise you. I promise you. Roundup today, we're building houses, flipping houses, renovating houses, and I just want you to know the real deal, Holyfield, when it comes to these new construction houses. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It's always something popping up. So today, Todd called me Friday, and my brain was mush. I'm like, I didn't want to think about this right now.
Wait till Monday.
I'm like, can this wait till Monday, please? Todd isn't like, go ahead, Todd.
And then I forgot on Monday, so I hit you up on Tuesday, and here it is Thursday.
Well, yesterday was a holiday. I would have called you from the bed.
I agree.
I should get back in the bed. I haven't even got out of the bed. Smitty, give us the backstory before we get to our problem. Roundup, we're going to talk to you about a problem that popped up with this new construction house. I got the drawings. Let me show you what I got on my screen real quick, Smitty, and you tell me, is this what you're going to be able to explain this with my roundupers? I got this. That's the original survey, and this is the site plan. You're going to be able to explain it?
Yeah, I should. So
give us the backstory before we get to the drawings.
Gotcha. How far back do you want to go? We've talked about this deal before.
I know, but I want to just
so we built a house.
Not the deal itself, but I'm talking about the problem that we ran into. Give us a backstory where we are with the actual problem that popped up the other day. Okay,
so the surveyor called me last week after Christmas. He had taken the day off after Christmas. God forbid. That's how I got the call Friday. Anyways, the city wants a change to the site plan. The street that we're building on is very narrow, and the city wants a larger right of way. So they need.
Hold tight. Let me frame it up real quick, Smitty. Give the Roundup family a little bit of a background on how long it has taken. That's why I want people to know. How long has it taken to get these drawings? Give us a little, frame that up for us.
Well, we closed on the property end of July, and so that's when we got our original survey, was in end of July, August. And then, gosh.
Did we get it then?
You're making me. It may have been in September. You're making me dig through the cobwebs here.
Well, let me look on the date then. Let me look. There should be a date here. Hold tight. These fools put December on here. That ain't right.
That was when we got the site plan. So it took us forever to get the site plan because there were changes. We had. Even though it was one lot, it was drawn as 2 lots because back in the day it was 2 lots. And that that was one of the hangups that the previous owner had, was that it was a double lot.
Go ahead and explain that. Now, what do you mean by
Yeah,
that?
so
Frame that up for 'em.
right where you see that line going down through the center, that used to actually split up the lot in that piece of land into two separate lots.
Mm-hmm.
In today's day and age, neither one would be buildable. And what you see there is the old structure. So it actually went across that lot line.
This is the old house here.
Yeah, that's the old house. So we had to, that center line, the architect had to go in and redraw it, essentially erasing a line. But that cost us, what? That was like $800 just to make that line disappear. Something like that.
Let me see if I even got it. I don't even have that drawing yet. Well, I don't have it on the soft copy. Wow. So explain that we had the survey, and then we had to vacate that line. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. So we're 4 or 5 months out in these drawings roundup. I'm trying to pull it out of Smitty so you guys can understand.
Yeah, so all of that was, he was kind of slow. He has given us some guidance going forward, like right from the get-go, before we even close, when we order a survey, he said, let him know what the plans are for the property. In this case, right from the beginning, we planned on tearing this down. And so it dragged things out. There's some things that we could have probably done to smooth it out a bit, but we still would have been 3 months. I mean, we may have saved a month.
Okay, here we are. November. This didn't get, I don't know. This doesn't know. You see it down there? We didn't.
Yeah. Beginning of
this,
November.
We bought the house in the July. Well, okay. Now we won the bid in July, but we didn't actually close it until like August, something like that.
Yeah. And then the longest thing was getting the utilities disconnected, especially the natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
When we called them, they had 45 days to disconnect it, which would have put us out to November 12th, if I recall. And our gas company, they take forever. They don't care because they're not losing any revenue over it. So
they don't
take
care.
their sweet old time. Now, if you're hooking up a new service and they're going to be able to start billing, they put that at a higher priority.
Gotcha.
But in this case, that property hadn't even had an active gas service for over 2 years.
Yeah, the dude didn't even have heat in there. Did he?
No, just electric heaters on the electric that he was stealing.
Okay, so let's frame it up. Somebody give a time frame. So it took us in Hampton Roads, these on a good day, the surveyors are backed up 30 days, even just to look at your stuff. So it took us let's just say 3 months to get our first set of drawings. And then I think the big thing for us is we need to pick the plans going in. We need to know. But the problem is you don't know what plans are going to fit. You got to, anyway. So tell me about the call that came in Friday, Smitty, and where are we at with these drawings? Because I don't even know. I'm learning as you're telling me.
So over the Christmas holiday, the surveyor got a letter from the city that said that they want, because the street is narrow, and it is narrow. I mean, when two cars cannot pass on this street, one of us has to pull over when another's going by.
Right here?
Yes, sir. So the city wants a larger right of way. And
we can't do that.
Well,
we can't make it right away larger.
They do. The city can.
Okay.
So we're talking about the setback, basically the setback from the street. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if at some point they intend to widen the street.
So round here is the original house here. Morgan, what are you doing? You louder than the TV.
So
this original house, and here's the proposed house where we'll be putting the house here. So I'm guessing here is about Was it
Yeah.
25 feet? There we go. There's 25 feet. Let me zoom in a little bit.
So he's gonna want it the front of the house to go back to where the neighbor's house is.
Right here.
Yes.
That ain't too bad. What's it, about 10 feet? Not too
Probably.
bad. Still
So
got next time.
we have plenty of room on the land to do it. What it's going to mean is that we've got to pour a longer driveway.
I didn't think about that.
More money.
So what is Boone saying? What is the land surveyor saying? So here's the driveway there coming in.
Yeah, he said it won't be a problem. It's easy to redraw it. I mean, that stuff's all on, it's all done with computer aided design, CAD. He's got it on a computer, so it's a matter of grabbing it, sliding it up, and make it where it needs to be. But like I said, in the construction process, it's going to be more grading, more concrete, more so more cost on the driveway. Not a lot, but
not too bad. Should be more.
Yeah.
What did we have so the city, why are we having to do this? I'm just not even understanding.
It's the city's requirement. In Boone read what Mr. Boone is our surveyor. He's the one that received the letter from the city because his name is on the plan, on that site plan, and the survey. And he said that the city is requiring a larger right of way because the street is so narrow.
But the street is the right of way. That is the right of way. The street is the right of way.
Well, they may intend to widen it. I don't know.
I see. That could be.
I mean, if you look at the house that we built on the other side of the street, we had the front of that house lines up with the neighboring houses, which are all newer.
It does?
Yeah, where the one that we tore down there was right on the street. It was an ancient, decrepit old thing that was very close to the street, similar to this. So the city's basically making us do the same thing. So shame on the surveyor. The surveyor should have known this, I think, going into it.
I see.
So it was submitted.
Is this going to be a cost to move this on a drawing, Smitty?
I did not discuss cost with him. Like I said, he kind of caught me off guard with it when he called.
I see.
And, I told him I wanted to discuss it with you and with our builder.
So we turned this in. I don't even know how long has it been. We turned this in back in December, right? The beginning of December. And now we're just getting a call.
Yeah.
Round up. I want you to know. Go ahead, Smitty.
The wheels of government do not turn fast.
Good God, 30 days just to say, oh, yeah, you got to move this back. And then now how long is it going to take after we got to return them back in? I mean,
probably a couple of weeks, but.
Unbelievable. Rounduppers. Good God, I love sharing with you the real because all this fake HGTV crap you're looking at, I promise you. It's just BS.
Yeah.
So you got to work with me, Smitty. I want to do a video. I don't know how many things, probably the 10 things I've learned, my biggest mistakes doing new construction. You help me. Would you mind helping me with doing the bullets on that?
Yeah, be glad to.
Because we have learned, good God, so much.
Yep.
So let me bring this up. Round up. So just bringing you up to speed. We're having to move the house back. That's our this is called proposed 2-story residence. This is the house we'll be building. So instead of a 32-foot driveway, it looks like we're gonna have to probably do a 40-foot driveway, which is probably another $1,000 concrete. Not much. We've got to return. The problem with, I'll zoom out a little bit. Here's our whole site. This is called a site plan here. You have to turn in a site plan to get your building permit. And I ain't gonna get into that. So we got to move that house back, which is just pushing us more back. I mean, I feel like we've been dealing with this. It's been what, 5 months? August, September, October, November. Wow, man, 5 months.
Yeah.
What do you recommend, Smitty? What's your biggest takeaway with these drawings and stuff you can leave for the round-uppers? Being we're actually new to this thing.
Talk with the surveyor. I mean, to be honest, I didn't even see this site plan. Our builder grabbed it, and I hadn't even, I signed for it, but I didn't actually see it. But knowing that on this opposite side of the street, the city had made us line up the front of the house with the other houses, I probably would have caught that on this one. So be open, sit down with your surveyor or architect, whoever's drawing it up for you, and review it and see if they have any suggestions or see if there's anything that you would catch. And now that this has happened, we all learn from experience. Now that this has happened to me, the next time we do a site plan, I'm going to look for stuff like this. I grew up on a dairy farm, and one of the tricks he always had was to leave a little bit of dirt on the milk house floor, because that was something that the inspector could easily find for a discrepancy and write you up on, and it's something that was easily corrected. So, again, you learn that by experience, because if you had a pristine milk house, again, using this old dairy farm analogy, if everything was pristine and they couldn't find something, they went looking a lot harder. And then who knows what they would find or fabricate, and then you gotta find out, is it really a hit or not. In this case, so again, that the inference there is that I learned from experience, and I learned that from the farmers that I worked with. My dad wasn't a farmer. I grew up working for other farmers.
Yeah.
And I learned from their experience. So in this case, I'd be learning from my experience, because it just hit us in the face and caused us probably a 5-week delay.
Yeah.
And maybe not, get it turned around, maybe 3 weeks, but still 2, 3, 4 weeks. Yeah, and it's got to be done, because you're not going to fight the city, or else they won't give you the building permit.
You don't want to piss those people off, man. Kiss their much butt as possible. All right, that's all we have for you tonight, Rounduppers. I just wanted to share with you the real deal. So we're sitting here on our thumbs, ready to rock and roll, and one thing comes back wrong, and you got to fix it. I mean, you have to fix it. There is no way around it. Stop it. Okay, that's all I have for you, Brother Smitty.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, Roundup. Oh, is there any questions on this stuff? I didn't see anything come in. Roundup, if you got any new construction questions, Smitty and I are more than happy to answer them, as we are doing this daily, interfacing with the contractors, city inspectors, utility companies. It's just crazy, man. What up, Brandon? What up? Any questions on new construction? You want to go into the detail? I think we did the detail a little bit on that. Chris says 3 months is not bad compared to his. Oh, he probably had to wait longer than that. He had to call us. Okay, yes. Send me a frame request. Okay, I'll look into that. Let's see. Daniel, how much will this hurt or help your profit? I think Smitty covered that. What are you thinking on that, Smitty? Just with the cement?
Yeah, mostly just with the cement. So probably $1,000.
Yeah, not too bad. Shit, real. T. Stigin. Can't pronounce it. How long will it take to build? What did Kenmore take? I think it took about 15 weeks. What is it? 14 weeks?
Yeah, 4 months.
4 months?
3 to 4 months. Kenmore, we were really lucky. The weather was really good.
That has been great.
We got that one dried in where it didn't get a drop of rain on it.
That
We
was
were
amazing.
blessed.
That was
So,
amazing. 3 to
yeah.
4 months take to build these things. It's going to be no doubt longer because of the cold weather in the wintertime.
Yeah.
All right,
Although
that's all. Huh?
for us, January is supposed to be a warm month down here. We're
Yeah,
blessed.
see.
I can remember when we took the roof off from a house and added a second story a couple of years ago. We were framing in snow.
I remember that. Are you saying we're supposed to have a warm January? I don't know.
January is supposed to be warm. Yep.
It feels good out there. I hope we get some cold weather. Will we do another new construction? Absolutely, yeah. The main thing with these new constructions, and I'll ask Smitty too, for me, the main thing is got to have the right builder, dude. If you don't have the right builder, you are done. You're done. What do you think? What would you think? The main thing?
Absolutely. Either that, or if you're going to be the general contractor yourself,
there you go.
You can do it, but you've got to have the subs, all your subcontractors lined up, and you got to have airtight contracts with them that spell everything out. Otherwise, you're going to have change orders that are costing you a lot of money and time. We saw that on a rehab we just did, where we didn't have a well-written contract with one of our contractors, and he would show up when he wanted to, thinking it wasn't going to impact us on other stuff, and we were frustrated beyond belief. So it gets even worse on a new construction where you've got to coordinate the plumber or the electrician, because you don't want them there at the same time where they're tripping over each other, or it's costing you money. It's not costing them money.
Too.
Yeah,
man, I don't want to be here with an electrician here. I don't want to be here with. I'm like, can y'all just get over it? What's wrong with y'all fools?
Yep. They're all prima donnas at that point.
The flooring guys here. I don't want to do no floor. Good Lord, man.
That's the way it was on the rehab when we finally got electrical contractor back in there to do some stuff. At the same time, another contractor was there doing some flooring. And
did he leave?
He left. He told me he was going to Lowe's to pick up some stuff. I call him up, say, "Hey bro, where you at?" And he's like, "It's going to be a minute before I get back there." Well, I didn't ask how long that minute was because it ended up being weeks.
That was just these guys. He's one of my good guys.
I mean, I like him. I've used him. I've used him again. He does great work. But
don't bring nobody else. Don't have nobody else working when he shows up.
And and again, that's the lesson learned with that particular individual. It's, hey, stuff happens. I mean, no hard feelings, but won't be the first guy I go to.
That was terrible, man. I don't want nobody. Manuel, hey, are we building these homes ourselves? We are not the general contractor. We're subbing it all out. I don't think I'm ready to do it. Matter of fact, I like new. Which one do you like better, Smitty? Renovations or new constructions?
I like new construction.
With less change, less modification, or what?
Well, less fewer surprises.
Yeah.
Less modifications. I mean, everything's up to code, and I'm a greenie. I'm a guy that wants things well insulated, and and sometimes in a rehab you just don't. Take for instance, like an attic insulation in our area has to have an R30 insulation by code for a new construction.
That's like
that's I think 18 inches of blown cellulose in the attic. And sure, you're just blowing it in, but that costs money and there's time if you're doing it on a rehab. where most people aren't going to look at that. Now, I mean, in my house, did I go in and do that? Yeah. And it's something that any homeowner can easily do and add on later. So it's not something that's a deal buster. But I just like, because you get fewer surprises. That's why I like new construction better.
I think the surprises are just, I think slightly fewer from my vantage point, but I just think they're different. Like this thing with the drawings and with the lot line.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you still get surprises. I just think they're just different.
Well, and we had a surprise on this one with what was it? With our sewer line. Well, water line and sewer line when we're the one that where we just went over those plans. When we were disconnecting the utilities, everything's got to be disconnected before the city will give you a demolition permit. So we send our contractor in to disconnect the water line and the sewer line. Everything was marked by the utility marking company per the plans that they have available to them. And the water line was a piece of cake. He cut that, no problem. And then he goes to get rid of the sewer line, and it wasn't where the city plans showed that it was. And he kept digging, and then he hit a neighbor's water line that goes across our property. And then, unfortunately, I was there. I had the city come out, the sewer guys come out, and they've got little electronic sniffers, snoopers, they're metal detectors. And they were searching. They couldn't find it. They said, well, this was on a Friday afternoon. I said, well, Monday we'll come back. We'll put a camera down and we'll run it down through the line and find out where the tap actually comes in. And they marked it, and that's where it was. But the drawings in that city are 50 plus years old, and they don't update. They don't update, and the drawings do not reflect reality. And we had the same problem with the property across the street last year. The sewer line was 20 or 25 feet away from where the city told us it was. Fortunately, we didn't cut anybody else's water line over there.
That's great. So we actually cut the neighbor's water line, y'all. That was just hell.
Oh yeah, and
I'm glad nobody got beat up.
I didn't get beat up physically, but I got beat up verbally. Man, and that was after we had it turned back on. Well, no, actually, I guess we hadn't. I assured her we were going to have. No, actually, it was. By the time I got over there, the water line had already been repaired.
She just wanted us a bitch.
And she wasn't even home when the water was out.
Charles, wrap around subject to mortgage in Germantown. I don't have anybody up there. From framing to stucco, 3 to 4 months. We don't do stucco around here.
Hey, isn't Chris up around the Germantown area?
I don't know where he is, Chris. If you got somebody you recommend, Birch is up there. I'll check with him. But Charles wants to know if you got a subject to or attorney up there. I don't know where Germantown is. Taste the nigga, stajinga. What keeps you going? I'll let Smitty answer that, and I'll put together my take.
Mint tea.
That ain't true.
What keeps me going? I just love dealing with people overall. At that and goals. I mean, this is my old vision board. It's not my 2020. Hold on a sec. Yeah. So you got to have goals. This is my vision board. Yeah, it's got 2 jets on it. I've realized I don't need 2 jets. One would be nice. I got a Honda Jet and I got a Piaggio Avante. Couple cars that I don't even want anymore. I'm past that flashy stuff. But the big thing, debt-free life.
Oh man, yeah, that is huge.
And there's my house that I want. So okay. I do want a different house.
Who's that white guy right there?
That's John Asaraf.
Oh, okay.
So he's got some great programs. He's one of my mentors.
Nice. Your vision board keeps you going, Smitty?
And then let me share a little bit of Sardinia with you. Hold it. Down there in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
That is an actual house that I admired so much when I lived on the island of Sardinia. I was blessed and stationed on the island of Sardinia off the coast of Italy for 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
And I mean, look at the, I don't know if you can hold it.
Right there.
You see that hand-built gate?
I see it.
I mean, that is all actual natural wood.
That's crazy.
Sweet.
Wow.
And that house is right on the water. It's right on Baia Sardinia or Baia Canagione, actually.
Nice. Nice.
So I may not buy that, but I'll go out and rent it for a month or so.
That's cool. Is that a rental property or is it like a vacation home?
No, it's a private. Well, when I lived there back in 2000 to 2003. At that time, as far as I know, it was just private residence. Nowadays, I don't know.
What keeps me going? I'm gonna tell you. Tay, I wish I knew how to say your name. I'm gonna just call you publisher. I am passionate about not meeting any more broke people. I want people to have. Yeah. I almost teared up today when I was talking to somebody about she's married and she said she's still renting. She's 48, and I guess we can rent at 48, but they don't. She didn't own a home, and I'm like, I think even in the richest man in Babylon, one of the 5 rules of gold is own thy own home. You know, I just think everybody should have the opportunity to own the dirt that they live in. You know, I'm really passionate about it.
So true. Hey, my folks rented until 1976 was when they bought.
How old were they?
Finally. So I was 13, which would have made my
approximately.
I got so my mother would have been.
Good Lord.
But so my mom was 55, my dad was 65. That was when they bought their first house, because my dad my father was an alcoholic, and he always listened to his barroom buddies that always complained about all the work they had to do on their houses that they owned and had to mow the lawn and fix this and that and paint this. So my dad, and they would always say, if I had to do it over again, I would just rent. So what did my dad do? He rented all of his life, but he also didn't want to have to pay for car repairs. So he bought a new car every year, or every 2 years, every 2 years religiously until 1970, which he retired on disability at that time at the age of 60. But it's and my mom wanted to buy. She wanted to buy, and she had the money. They could have paid cash for a house back in the 40s or 50s.
What we have today, if we were buying them at 50s prices, I mean, I would have good hundreds.
Yep.
All right, take it. Excuse me.
So I'm with you, Chris. You know, that's definitely a good drive.
Well, the thing is, man, when you get 40, 50, my thing is at least, I try to say when I'm looking at something, I say, what is the least? At least you could pay your house off and have that one less bill when you turn 60. Because if you're still renting when you get older, you still got that rent coming in. You know, I mean, you still got to continually pay out, as opposed to if you pay your house off, at least you have that. You can save that. Let's just say it's $1,000 a month mortgage or rent. When that's cheap, $1,000 a month is cheap.
Well, and so let me share something with you there along those lines, since we're talking kind of financial education. And I've got
talk about financial education and shit.
Yeah, that's true. I have a very wise neighbor. He was a ship fitter with the shipyard, and he's got mesothelioma, so he had to retire a few years ago. You've met him. You used to work out at the gym with him.
Yeah, I remember.
Um,
But he's good though. He's not like keeling over, right? He
oh
doesn't
no,
have
no,
like
no,
breathing
no.
problems.
Yeah, no, he's doing fine. But
Uh,
anyways, his son-in-law came into a chunk of money when the son-in-law's parents passed away, and the financial advisor, the CPA, was saying, invest this money. My neighbor was telling his son-in-law, you should pay off your mortgage and then take what you had for a mortgage payment and invest that every single month.
very smart.
What do you
Very
think
smart.
happened? What do you think happened to him in 2008 when the market crashed? What happened to those investments?
Oh boy.
And he still had a mortgage.
What did he do with the money?
He invested it. He didn't blow it. He's very smart that way. He invested it, but he took the big loss in the stock market because he was invested in equities, not houses, not house equity, but he was in stock equities. And so when we had the crash of 2008, he took, now he didn't cash out, so it was just paper loss at the time, but he took a 50% loss, and it
Good
takes
Lord.
time to recover that.
Yeah, it does take time.
I took a hit like that on my
Oil
in
stuff.
3030. Well, no, it was the TSP in the government, so it's like a
Mhm.
401k. Thrift savings plan is what it's called with the
TSP.
federal government. Same thing, and it takes time, and boy, if you're not positioned for that stuff, so the advice is pay off your mortgage. I'm with you, Chris. Get that paid off. Have that peace of mind, and Papa Ron LeGrand has said the same thing. He knows financial advisors will tell you keep the mortgage, write off the interest. Peace of mind is so worth having that paid off, and then you can and if you do have a windfall to where you can pay off a mortgage, then do exactly that. Take that mortgage payment and sock it away every month.
Yeah,
Invest
$1,000.
it.
That
Yeah.
stuff grows quick.
Yeah.
It grows quick. Stephanie, thank you for hanging out with us, South Carolina. Hey, Jamal. Let's see what we're dealing with. Jamal, probably one of the main reasons I prefer to deal with move-in ready high-end homes. What about us? Well, the problem, Jamal, for us, I guess, any investor, when you get capital, you can't sink it into pretty homes because they don't have any equity. And you're not buying them cash.
Yeah.
So you got to get that money working. And I don't know anybody that's able to actually sink money into no equity pretty houses. I don't think it works like that. I haven't been able to do it. Those type of deals, you're not putting no money in. Powell. I bet his name's Paul. How did you find your builder, and how did you know they were really good? Man, that's a good question. I've been begging him to come on the show. I had him committed on Monday, Smitty, but he backed out.
He get camera shy?
He said don't be on camera.
We've had him on camera for little snippets, but
He won't let me do an interview.
yeah.
How did we find a builder? It was a recommendation, but then we went to see. I don't know if you went with us, Smitty, when we were looking at his 2-story additions when he put that second story on.
No, wasn't there.
Yeah, we saw work that he did, and I saw several projects he did. I'm like, this is my guy.
And you're the only investor that he'll build for.
That's right, man.
I'm
honored.
You've tried to refer others to him, and he just won't. But he's so busy. Got 10 to 12 projects going at a time.
Good God, I'm just honored he picks the phone up, right? I'm glad to be able to talk to the guy. New England picker junk removal. We are looking to do our first flip. What is the best advice you could give us? I'll let Smitty go first. Come here. Unless you want me to go first.
My best advice is do your research and make sure the numbers work. I've seen too many people get in over their heads because, well, hey, I'm guilty with a rental that I have down the street here. My wife fell in love with it, didn't want anyone else to buy it, so we overpaid for it. And
Emotional.
I have that, so
Emotional.
then the numbers work. I had a fellow Navy guy that hit me up on my birthday last month, and he's like, "Hey, I see that you are self-employed. What are you doing?" I told him, but he wants to do the same type of thing, but the numbers have to work. If the numbers don't work, stay away from it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say better advice for your first flip. Don't be cheap. Two things. Don't be cheap. If it's something that needs to be fixed, fix it. Like if you got a wall out of sync, or if you got some flooring, you're gonna try to like halfway do it. Or if you got light fixtures, or if you've got an old door here and there, just replace it. The thing I like about real estate, what I've learned, if you just do it, get it over with, you can move on to the next thing. Like when you're doing a flip, I call it layers. You got these layers. They're like this. They add up, right? Who is this? New England. But as soon as you get one of those layers, if you don't do that layer, it kind of stays there, and then you got another thing that piles on top of it. Say, for instance, what do we have to do, Smitty, on this last one? We didn't do that cement or that little walkway, right? That's a layer. One of the repairs. Repairs are layers, right? You got kitchen, bathroom, flooring, electrical, plumbing, paint, sheetrock. It layers up, right? So when you skip over something, you try to be cheap.
No.
She's having fun. You skip over something, that layer doesn't move. So you got other stuff now, it just keeps piling. But if you just get rid of it, boom, get it over with, no matter what it costs. Have fun.
Sorry, Chris. I'm on the computer, Red.
She can hear you. No matter what it costs, New England, just pay for it. Even if it costs a little bit more, something just popped up for us. I know what it was. We were gonna tear that sunroom down. This was another 2-3 grand. And I'm like, you know what? It's over. It's a layer that we are able to pull back and just move on. I don't care. I mean, the cost is irrelevant to me. I'm like, just get it over with so we can move on. Moving on is way more important than saving money. Because remember, when you're flipping house, you got 3 forms of money, right? You got your profit, you got your principal, and then you got your interest. Those are 3 forms of money. Your profit is way down the line compared to your principal, which is paying back your investors, and your interest, which is paying the profit to your investors. So you got these 2 principal interest that your investors or your bank are going to get, and your profit is way over here. So forget your profit. You need to make sure the principal and the interest gets paid back first, then your profit is here. So I don't even care about you. I care about your investors. Like, we're irrelevant. We are so irrelevant when it comes to these things. Some good questions you got here. Baltimore. Oh yeah, Birch, I'm gonna try to see you this weekend. I missed you this weekend. Smitty, Chris is my boy, but Smitty is the person that everyone desires to entrust in. You're right, Smitty is gold. Dude's relationship is gold. I mean, I can give Smitty. I mean, where do you get that from, Smitty? Where do you get that from? Doing what the hell you say you're gonna do, and if you don't, you'd be like, I can't do it. I mean, people that think that's small, but that's just huge.
Well, a lot of it probably comes from the Navy. I was in the nuclear power field in the Navy, and one thing goes back to the days of Admiral Rickover. You had to have the highest integrity. But I was also raised with it. I was raised to live by the golden rule. I was raised in the church, and I love to work. I started working when I was 12. That's when I actually started on a farm. I can remember the farmer telling me, because I used to go and watch him. I'd be standing watching him going back and forth in the field on the tractor, and finally he invited me up to ride on the tractor with him, and then he offered me a job. He's like, and by law, I was in New York State. By law, you could actually start working at the age of 13 for $2 an hour. This was back in the 70s and 80s, and
those joints back.
But so that first year when I was 12, he paid me $1 an hour, and I loved it, and I worked for him from 13 to 18.
Nice. Nice.
Every summer and then during the school year if he needed help, here and there. But otherwise, mostly it was during the summer.
Nice.
I just love to work. And I love to help people.
You really do, brother. And you like to have fun too.
The fun comes as a benefit for me, I guess.
You come with me tomorrow to Kenmore? I want to get some new pictures. I haven't even seen it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we have a showing at the rehab tomorrow afternoon too.
Okay, cool. Realtor architect referral. Jeanette McCallum for broker in Hampton Roads. Mr. Covington. I don't know. What numbers do we calculate to decide to do a fix and flip? Always the same. 0.7 or 0.65 minus repairs. Period. That's it. Full bulldog.
Well, plus your profit. Plus your desired profit.
No, 0.7 minus repairs. That's your mail. I mean, that's it. That includes your profit. 0.7.
Yeah, I'm thinking wholesaling. If you're going to wholesale it, then you also have to figure in your whole fee. Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to get confused, Smitty. You're gonna go. Oh my lord.
Sorry about that.
Forget he said that. He said that. Smitty, come on, man. You getting too
Sorry.
deep. Do you guys have do we only invest in real estate or do you invest in stocks too? I'll let Smitty go there. I don't mess with none of that crap.
What? I can remember when you were asking me about Starbucks and Disney
asking you and doing it is two different things, Smitty. Go ahead.
I do a little bit of everything. I do some trading in commodities. I do some stocks. I do options. Not just options on houses. I do options on houses, but I also do options on stocks, put and call options on stocks.
You were doing some oil stuff too.
Yeah, that's commodities. Yeah, I haven't been trading. The price of trading crude oil has gone up quite a bit, so I don't want to have that much money tied up.
Gotcha. I don't do it. But I would if I knew what I was doing. Low key. I like and enjoy our content. Well, thank you. That's nice of you. Look at that picture he's got.
Yes, sir.
Is that
an aircraft carrier?
I don't know. What are our thoughts about creating notes and slow flipping your new constructions? You got to have some deep pockets to do that because each house you're going to be in it for $200. Let's say it costs $150 to build and you got $50 in site prep, or $160 to build and $40 in site prep. So you got to have some long money to do that. And then my problem is they're going to tear it up. The new constructions nowadays, with the carpet, they're going to destroy it. I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. Final thoughts, man. Let's get out of here. I got some final thoughts I wanted to share, but I want you to, if you got any final thoughts you want to leave our rounduppers.
Don't make the mistake that I've made, and that is being a professional student. Jump in and do it. For the longest time, I took course after course after course.
We should need to.
And you need the education, but you also have to get in and do it. Just like kind of like what you said with the HGTV. Some of these gurus, what they're saying, they're giving you a portion of what you really need to know, and you're not going to know it all until you actually get in there and experience it. Like the stuff today with the plans. If we didn't go in the plans and talking with the surveyor and stuff, wouldn't have known that. Just jump in. You're going to make mistakes. The thing is, make sure your numbers work. So actually analyze the deal. Get some good analysis. Find somebody to coach you through it. And you don't have to pay a ton of money. I know there's gurus out there that are charging, $15,000, $20,000 a year or more for coaching. Mm-hmm. And unless you're dealing with some really high end stuff, you don't need that. Find someone who will work with you and teach you the basics. And matter of fact, one of my mentors in trading Forex, which is foreign exchange, foreign currencies. He said, he actually stumbled a little bit last year. And one of the things that he realized when he stepped back and analyzed the situation is you got to get back to basics. And he needs to get back to basics. And, that's if you focus on the basics, don't jump into it, learn from it as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Learn as you go. I want to round up. I want to tell you, subscribe to my channel. I want to leave you with these two things. I'm just reading Damon Dash's book. I don't know if you know Damon Dash. He started a record company called Rockefeller. Founded Kanye West and Jay-Z, all these guys. Losing is part of winning. It's just, you can't win unless you lose. I mean, they're all mixed up into this one ball. And I know it sounds crazy, but when I look back over my life, I'm like, I had Smitty, you probably don't know this, but I got so many losses that I want to share with people. They don't know how much I've lost, before winning. I know on the internet it looks like we're always winning and doing good and doing all this. I lost so much before I started to really get some traction. Losing is part of winning. Don't be scared to lose.
Absolutely.
Be happy when you lose, because next one's gonna be a win. It's like dating. Talk to the 10 girls, one of them gonna say yes after you get 9 no's, unless your game's weak. Second is round-uppers. Good gracious. Round-up family. I want to tell you what I found the key to wealth. I found the secret. You know who told me this too? Mark, the builder. He's like, man, millionaires, they live on, he said 30%, but I don't want to give you a quote, but we live on less than what we make. Let me show you why this works. Say you make, here's your income, right, for the year, 100,000, whatever you make. If you live on 40%, which is this much, you can take the other 60, move it over here, and start from the beginning. I'm trying to look at everything now, Smitty, as New Year's going, I'm looking at everything like a beginning, right? Eric Thomas is like, man, if you made it to the NFL, you just at the beginning. I'm looking at myself like I got access to X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Before I used to look at that as my destinations, maybe. Now I'm looking at it as if it were just the beginning. You got 10 houses, 20 houses, 30 houses. That's just the starts. So I'm looking at everything like, one, how can I live on 30% or 40% on what I make? Two, it's all just the beginning. Just the beginning.
Yep. Well, Max said the same thing a couple of weeks ago when you had him on, Max Keller.
Yeah.
And, his goal is to live on 25% of his income.
He's at 25.
Yeah, he said 25%, give 25% away and invest 50%.
It's weird, Smitty. I don't think you can blow up until here's what, for me, like when I got my publishing deal we got our publishing deal with Praise back in 2002. I spent the money on myself. It was like, what can I do? I want to go spend it on but now I'm looking at, the more I figure out a way to spend it on other things, like investing here, donating here, contributing here, building my IRA there, college account. It's almost like you just get more. I don't know why does it work like that?
It's part of it's karma, but it's I don't know how to explain it. You're getting into the spiritual there, but it definitely you need to give before you receive.
Give before you get. You're a master at that, dude.
Whether however it be, whether it be charitable service, whether it be cash you're giving away. I mean, I've even amended. I had grown really cold to beggars. We have our fair share of beggars in this area.
That's different, man. You can donate. You gotta give it to them. You give it to somebody, organization.
But still, yeah, and I do, and and I hate to, I always give something to where I have record of it, so I want to give a check or send me a credit card or something. But I've gotten to the point where it's not for me to judge. So if I give away $1 or $5, it's not going to kill me. They need it more than I do. And if they're scamming me, If it's perpetual, it's not it's not my problem. That's their problem. So,
Charles, what you got about? Charles has a question about a subject too. Two things cannot occupy the same space. However, when you lose, be patient and prepare. Very, very, very true. Oh, hey, Charles says, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
you're welcome.
40 was Dahlia. That's right. Chris knows all about this stuff. 40,000 salary and 100. That's right. That way you pay less taxes too.
Yep.
Philip tells his soldiers he must be a officer. Tells them to live on 40%. That's right, man. I'm telling you.
Yep.
I don't know why. I'm living proof. You spend. Yep. You take the other amount. It's like I try to look at it like another beginning. You take the other capital, move it over here. You can distribute it however you want. But man,
yep. One of my best friends in the Navy used similar principle, but he always lived one pay grade below where he was at. So if he got a promotion, if he was an E6, he lived on an E5's pay. If he was an E7, he lived on at an E6 pay. And he was slow to raise his standard of living, but it was always one pay grade below and investing the rest.
Stuff works, man. Okay, rounduppers, that's all we got. Spitty, thank you for sharing this time with me.
Thanks, Chris. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. All right. So what we'll do is make sure you subscribe, share this content. I'd like to know, what do you do to build your wealth? And don't forget, if all you got is a bank account, you ain't building no wealth. You got to get some assets. I know for me, every time I put money in the bank, it mysteriously has a way. Just kind of. Does it do that to you, Smitty, or what? Am I just the only one?
Hey, you know how my wife shops.
Mysteriously.
It does. It's but you lock it away in those investments, and has a way of growing rather than flying away, like you said.
Lock it up. You gotta lock it up. I know some gurus are like, well, you don't lock your money up. You need to keep it liquid. Never worked for me. It didn't work for me. I always end up spending it. You're pretty B Moody. Thank you. You're welcome. Oh man, this is so love. I love it. Shaq, what up, Shaq? Oh, they crying back there. My son just turned 21. Okay, Spitty, I'm gone, man. Round up. Is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay.
I don't know if you had anything else from those guys.
No, I'm done. Round up. I'll see you soon. Peace.
Take care.